Okay, good afternoon, everybody. Welcome to the Kingston Tree Commission meeting. Today is January 12th, 2021. My name is Suzanne Cahill, Planning Director of the City of Kingston and organizer for this virtual meeting. Before we begin our meeting, I'd like to go over a few guidelines to help navigate the system as efficiently and respectfully as possible. We ask that any members of the public and press remain muted and off camera for the length of the meeting. As the organizer, I reserve the right to mute anyone who unmutes themselves. Commission members and city staff will control their own mute button. As good practice, we ask that you mute yourself if you are not speaking to avoid background noise and feedback. If a commission member or staff wishes to speak, they will raise their hand. As the organizer, I will call on them before they speak by stating their name clearly for our audio listeners. The commission member will then unmute themselves, state their name, and speak clearly, muting after finished. All meetings are recorded. Both video and written transcriptions will be made available to the public on the city's website at a later date. If you have audio issues, please send a text message to the following number, 845-443-0416. Please be aware that phone calls will not be answered during the meeting. The number to text again is 845-443-0416. Thank you for your patience, and we'll now begin our meeting at 3:39 p.m. And I'm just going to, for the record, identify the members here. My name again is Suzanne Cahill. I am the Planning Director for the City of Kingston. We have Sarah Wenk is a commission member. Tebby Collins is on a commission member. We have Vince Archer, who is on the phone with us. And we have Alderman Morel, who is our liaison, and Kyla Dide, who is the assistant planner. So let us get started. We do have one application that we want to address today, and that's 100 Huffman Street. I had circulated all of the information. Dean Barnes is here with us. He's the property owner. This is the property at the corner of Hoffman and Mary's Avenue. Dean, do you want to just talk a little bit about it? I know that you had indicated to me you were unaware of the tree commission's need to review the removal of the trees, but I'll let you explain a little bit about why and what your plans are.
Yeah, I mean, I planned on replacing the tree, and I guess, in the back of my mind, I was thinking of the old school, property rules where, if you were replacing something, you didn't need a permit. I mean, it may have been in the back of my mind, but I apologize for not researching that further. Part of one of the main reasons is the fact that they've been growing into the power lines for many years, and about 2 years ago, Central Hudson stopped trimming them. And then the more I read about the Bradford pears that we had, they are considered to be an invasive species now, as well as they start to split after age 20, and they are about 22 or 23 years old. So I was a little bit concerned with the winter coming up that, there was a tree guy that had an opening, and we, were concerned before the winter about the Farmer's Almanac that, was predicting a very hard winter. So we were concerned about that. And that's the main reasons why we took them down. And, we love our trees, and, we do want to replace them.
Dean, do you have any idea what types? I mean, I know you said 2 of them were Bradford pears, and you obviously aren't planning to replace the Bradford pears with Bradford pear, and the other was an ash, correct?
Yeah, the other was an ash.
Do you have any idea of the species that you would replace?
We have in our yard, we have a dwarf variety of ornamental crabapple that only gets like pea-sized crab apples that we absolutely love. It's it's probably 16 years old and, you know, is maybe 13 to 14 feet, so it wouldn't reach the power line. So that was the one really considering. We like we like planning in groups. We like the repetition and the look. That's why you know, especially when, um, you know, our flowering cherries that this were in the same time as that we have on the property, would bloom around the same time as the Bradford pear. So it was quite striking. So, um, you know, we would like obviously something that blooms at the same time. We really like the look of that. In addition to down the hill, St. Peter's Cemetery also has crab apples. They're a little bit larger crab apple than ones we were thinking of, but that was what we had in mind. We hadn't fully decided on it. We're still researching. We want to be sure to find a species that is deeply rooted, so it won't uh, bring up the sidewalk like the ash has done.
Okay. Well, we do have, I mean, we do have some particular species that we can provide you a list of that are suited for under wires. Obviously, we would want you to make a choice of a tree that at maturity is not going to be, you're not going to be in the same situation in another 15, 20 years where the tree is interfering with the services. You don't have any underground services on that side of the property, do you? They all go out to Hoffman Street?
We have the water line comes in next to the telephone pole there, which so
By the
obviously we wouldn't be
driveway?
planting a tree by the telephone pole.
Okay. Okay. Any questions from the commission members?
Well, thanks for replacing them.
Okay. Dean,
Now,
we also
it-
there was also various systems, they're called like root barrier systems, that you could use to put when you're planting the tree, and that directs the roots more downward rather than out flat. There's also soils, like there's a structural soil that can be used, and that helps, if that's used, then that helps to divert the trees and allow the roots to grow and not interfere with the sidewalk or the curbing or things of that nature.
I didn't see it online, but is there a separate permit to plant?
I'm sorry?
I didn't see one online, but is there a separate permit to plant trees?
You're breaking up on my end.
Hi, this is Tebby. He said, is there a permit to plant? I don't believe there is.
Well, no, well, there technically there is, but by doing this process, it's the same thing. You're getting the permission. If you needed to like pull up the sidewalk though, to repair the sidewalk and level it out, you will need to obtain a sidewalk permit from the DPW just to flatten out your bluestone.
Okay, thank you.
Okay. So I'll forward you the list of trees for utilities. I think we can also forward you some information on the structural soil. And then I will need a motion from the commission to approve the removal with the condition, obviously, that they be replanted. You're looking at a springtime planting, I'm assuming, Dean?
Yes, and obviously we're
Okay.
Go through the correct process of calling dig before we have the stumps ground and all that.
Right. Yep.
I have one question.
Yep. Teddy.
You were talking about a crab apple and you said it, I couldn't quite hear, the sound wasn't great. Is it a flowering crab or or does it have apples? My only concern would be dropping. We used to have a crab apple tree when I was a kid, and it was a mess when it dropped the apples.
Uh,
So,
It's an ornamental, and it only
Okay.
gets pea-sized fruit, and they stay all winter, and the
Okay.
birds eat them.
okay.
Okay.
So I will make a motion. Let's see, that we approve the planting of trees appropriate for planting under electrical wires. Is that all you need?
That's all I need, and I'll put in the rest. Can I have a second on that?
This is Vince, I'll second.
Okay. All in favor? Just raise your hands. Vince, I need an eye. You. Okay. Very good. Thanks, Jean. You're all done. You'll be getting a letter from me.
All right, take care.
Bye-bye. Okay. Then I had one other quick thing, and then I know that we wanted to talk about the Henry Street project a little bit. I just wanted to let people know that on Wall Street, 242 Wall Street, there was a tree by the St. Joseph Church that was hit by a truck. And so we're working with the individual's insurance company and get that tree replaced up there for St. Joseph. So if you see that alongside the church, then that's what that is. And we are working on that. And then we had the Henry Street. So I know everyone
I got a quick, about the
yes,
tree on, by St. Joseph's Church.
yes.
They're going to remove it and stump grind
Yes.
and replant. They're going to
Yes.
replant too? Okay,
Yes.
good.
Yep. No, I'm talking not about the one that fell across the fence, that fell from private property,
No, not that one, the one on the
The
other
one-
side, yeah,
right by the church. Yes.
yeah,
Yeah.
okay.
So with Henry Street, I know there was the concern, I don't know if, Tebby or Vince, if you had a chance to look at the YouTube of the meeting that Kyla had sent around earlier today.
No, I
No, I
hadn't
didn't get,
looked at that. I just got it and I had some other things, so I didn't get to see it.
I as well, I
Go
haven't
ahead,
seen it
Vin.
yet.
Okay, Kyla had done some outreach to Kristen. Kyla, do you want to just talk a little bit about that?
Sure. Well, she just suggested that we take a look at that video. If you'd like to, obviously the tree commission can make recommendations, or discuss the project at any time. At some point, there is going to be a formal presentation to the tree commission about this project. It sounds, I just watched the video myself. It sounds like they explored a bunch of alternatives for the street design with the project advisory committee. I don't think there were any members of the tree commission on that particular project advisory committee. The design, from watching the public meeting, the design that looks like it was the most favorable by the design committee was one where they would want to try to consolidate the utility poles onto one side of the street so that they could open the other side of the street up for some, hopefully, some larger planting areas. It doesn't sound like the detailed design is at a point where they know how wide the tree pits would be or whether Central Hudson would approve consolidating the utilities. Those kinds of things I think are all being still designed by the engineers and also in discussion with Central Hudson, what's possible and what isn't. They made note that there would be hope that trees would be able to be saved, but as Sarah mentioned in the email, it wasn't very, you know, it wasn't, we will save these. It was more, you know, there's hope that we won't have to take them all down, but there's a possibility that we will. So it's really up to the commission. You can, I mean, I don't know, make, you know, broad recommendations now, and then when they come back with more detail, make additional recommendations. I mean, it's up to you how you want to do it. Did you have any questions in specific to the project?
Debbie?
I mean, I don't have any specific questions. It just seems like there's still a lot that we don't really know yet. I mean, it doesn't seem like, I have to go look at this, at the video, but it just sounds like there's a lot that still has to be done. And, you know, so we can make recommendations, but I don't know if we want to do that now, or maybe we should do it now before they make anything final. But, and
It's
I
one
know
of-
so the Memorial Tree Fund are very concerned. They're like, what's going on with Green Street? And are they taking all these trees down?
Right.
And obviously there's issues with the street and utilities in the street, and where can you put a tree? And aren't there some issues with people having things that encroach on the right of way? So that's another issue, you know, with homeowners that are, you know, their steps or something are into the, Yeah.
On this particular street, the encroachments are not as frequent as the ones that were like that we looked at on Franklin Street.
okay.
Most of, you look at the video, you will see where they point out where the boundary line of the right of way exists and where the property lines actually are. A lot of them are retaining walls for the most part that might be minor encroachments. So it's not necessarily an issue of that. They want to, because of the utility issues and concerns, they want to maintain the right of way and the curb as it exists. So you're dealing with a framework that's in place that they want to maintain from that perspective as well. Another thing I'll just mention is that this is a project that's been going on for quite a while. And subsequent to this project actually being initiated, the Tree Commission had made some statements, and project review committees and advisory committees are now asking for members of the Tree Commission to participate. So, for example, Sarah participated on the Franklin Street one, and still is, and I think Vince is on the one for Schwenk Drive. So we're getting more inroads there, which is a good thing. That's a positive thing. So the Tree Commission has been recognized. This might be a little late in the game. It might be something to think about, maybe just asking Kristen to maybe come to the meeting if you can, because if you haven't watched the video yet, I think it is a little premature to put something together. You'd need to really look at that, digest it, and then come up as a commission with a consensus of some thoughts that you want to present back to the design review committee.
I guess, yeah, what I would hope, I mean, because the design is in such early stages, is that, you know, maybe just that we could make a statement or you know, a request that the design try, you know, make a real effort to prioritize keeping the existing trees, you know, regardless of everything else. Like, I think that, like, you wouldn't just start, I mean, it's not a great analogy, but you wouldn't just start tearing people's houses down because they don't fit into your plan. So, you know, I think you have to kind of look at trees that way, like these are important structures. And I really do feel, having watched a lot of these projects, that there can be as I said in my email, a very cavalier attitude about it. It's like, oh, we'll just plant another tree. But you can see from those pictures, these are beautiful mature trees, and people really love their trees. They want, when we started the Franklin Street project, they came in with guns blazing. They were like, we can put in a bike lane, we can change the parking, we can do all these things. And the people were like, no, we want sidewalks and trees. That's it. Like, we want better sidewalks and trees. So, and I don't feel like it's too early in the process just to say, you've got some beautiful trees there. Please try to find a way to work around them so that we don't just keep cutting trees down all the time. Maybe it's too early to do that, or maybe, it can just, maybe it goes without saying, but it just worries me because I feel like the trees.
Okay. Well, I mean, if the commission is comfortable, I could draft up just something that's very generic. I don't like that word, but to a general statement that, it would be the position of the tree commission that during all stages of design for any street that, it's our position that the mature trees, every effort should be made to protect and preserve, good, strong, healthy street trees. We want to make sure they're healthy too, obviously, and ones that aren't, interfering with utility lines that, could be problematic. But
I mean, I like that idea, but obviously I'm a gadfly and all this. I mean, it doesn't seem like it hurts anything to just kind of.
It's.
We just want to remind you this is really important.
Tebby.
Yeah, and I agree with that. And I noticed on the pictures, that there were electric lines on both sides of the street. And so, if there's a possibility of putting them on the side opposite to where the trees already are, maybe that's something they can do. And I don't know. I mean, I feel a little uncomfortable making a lot of suggestions because I don't know anything about construction and road construction. But when I looked at the project again, like Sarah was saying, the project where the people said we just want sidewalks and trees, they're talking about a bike lane, and I'm thinking, how are they going to fit all this in, and trees? But again, I don't know anything about construction or building roads or utility issues. But I think a statement at least saying that the trees are a priority, and if there's any way we can prioritize retaining good healthy trees makes sense to me.
Okay. Vince, any thoughts?
Well, when we did the walkthrough, I thought they stated that they'd have to rotate, they'd have to switch the trees from the opposite side of the street depending on where the utility lines were.
That was
And
Franklin.
the ones that, on Franklin.
That
What are
was
we talking about?
Henry.
Oh, Henry. Oh, oops, wrong street. One street over.
There's a lot of streets.
Similar conversation though. There are a lot of utilities and, similar. Henry's a much wider street, but there's a lot of the same situations.
So I'd have to go take a look at it again, and then I'd have to look at that video. I don't know. I haven't looked at the video, so.
Yeah, if you just go to the sections Kyla pointed out.
Yeah, the beginning, you can skip. I mean, you can watch as much as you want, but the first, I would say like 20 minutes is kind of introduction to the project. If you want to just hit the parts that, show you the alternatives, and then the end, the question and answer is really where they talked about the tree questions, about whether the trees could be saved and about Central Hudson's interaction with that. So,
Okay.
but it's an hour, it's like an hour long, if you want to watch the whole thing.
Yeah, I'll have to take a look at it before I say too much wrong.
Yeah, I feel like I need to look at it as well. But I mean, is Henry Street, when I drive down it, doesn't seem like a very wide street to me. And when I think about putting in a bike lane and, but I assume then they would take out parking.
I actually think the current most, the focus of the design that they're focusing on, it doesn't include a bike lane. It includes, I think, wider, if I understood it correctly, it includes wider sidewalks so that children, school-age children could actually ride their bikes on the sidewalk to and from George Washington, but it does not include a separated bike lane. That was one of the discussions, but they,
It would be shared ride lanes.
right, it
And
moved
parking
away from
would be
that.
on both sides of the street.
And I think that was because, like Sarah said, a lot of the residents said, we want sidewalks, we want trees, we want parking. We don't want, to take away from that for a bike lane.
I mean, parking is a big issue. And
Mhm.
that bike lane over on Greenkill with the parking that's outside the bike lane, it's so bizarre.
Yeah,
I mean,
that was
when I
bad.
first saw that, I was like, what the heck is this? But so anyway, it's, if they're not going to put a bike lane, that makes good sense to me.
Just FYI, the Franklin Street project seems to kind of be on hold now because our project manager left, so, which is a shame because I really liked him.
Yeah, I don't, yeah, it's just that, yeah, with him leaving, the department has, a lot of added responsibilities. That engineering department lost 2 people within a couple of months. And so they are very well stressed right now.
Yeah, I mean, I'm sure it will pick up again, but for now it's on hold.
Yeah. So,
I also, if we're done with Henry, just wanted to ask about the trees on Green. I think I sent out those pictures, and when I went by there, I think I was out running, and the woman, Lori, who we talked to, was there with a tree guy, and they were looking at the trees, and she said, I mean, I don't know, I never believe anything, but until I find out more, but she said that those trees were not cut by Central Hudson, they were cut by the city when they brought the pavers through.
she had said that when she came in, when we
Yeah.
were talking to her originally. Yeah, she did mention that. And
I mean, if all 3 of those trees,
that is
one of
an
them
issue
seems like
that we have to
maybe
deal with. But and we're hoping now, we have some money, and we're hoping that we can get our couple of our DPW guys trained and certified so that we aren't going to face those problems again.
right. But in the short term, I mean, if there's any way we can help her with either removal or replanting, I think
Right.
a long way toward soothing her.
We don't have any funding for that.
Didn't we have some money for trees though, for planting?
We did, and we had a plan in place, and the comptroller said that we could not do that.
Why?
Because he wouldn't allow us to hold the money over for planting next year. So,
We lost it?
on.
Are you kidding?
Nope.
Just, I mentioned this to the Memorial Tree Fund, and we didn't make any decisions, and we don't meet very often. It's not like we meet every month. But I do know that there were some people who were interested in possibly putting together some funding that we could allow people from the city to plant. Now, it wouldn't be, I don't think we would use the money for taking a tree down, but for replanting, because I think the Memorial Tree Funds, the way their mission is written, it would have to be either trimming. or planting.
Great.
Now, nothing has been decided, and we sort of got off topic and people started talking about other things. So we never made any sort of formal motion. And there were questions about, well, how would we manage the money? Would people apply for it? And how would we distribute it? And would it only go to people that were, financially strapped? If somebody could afford it, let them put their own tree in.
Yeah.
So nothing has been definitive, but if anybody has any ideas or thoughts about this that you want to pass along to me, I can pass it along to the Memorial Tree Fund. But I do know that there was some interest. I don't know how much money,
Right.
but for
And
planting trees.
That's good to know. I mean, I've gotten requests from people who want to donate money or donate the planting of a tree. So I've tried to, work with them, and people who want to donate money for a tree to be planted in memory of somebody. I've told them about the Memorial Tree Fund and given them contact information so that they could give you guys the money and plant the tree. But if there could be a fund separate and distinct set up through the Memorial Tree Fund to be planted in the city of Kingston, I think that would be great and managed by you guys. I'd be happy to do that.
Well, that's something we're talking about, but again, nothing definitive.
Right.
Happened. And just FYI, is what the Memorial Tree Fund does, if people want to plant a tree in someone's memory, we don't plant specific trees in someone's memory. And I think it has to do with that was done and then the tree died. And so what we do is we accept money and the person's name is put into the Memorial Tree Fund book, which is kept at the Kingston Library. So each year we record the names of all of the people who've donated in memory of whomever. And then but the money is just put into the Memorial Tree Fund kind of general fund. And then trees are planted in the city, but we don't plant. It's not like we say we're accepting this money and this money will be used for a specific tree for a specific.
Okay. All right. Okay.
So just FYI, that's, and people who have contacted us, we've explained that to them that, and like I say, I think it had to do with a tree dying and then, what do you do about that? So this way you can say, thank you for the money and a tree will be planted somewhere in the city of Kingston where the need is greatest. So that's kind of the way we handle it.
Okay.
And it is recorded and kept on file at the library.
Right. Okay. That's good to know. Okay. Okay. I don't have anything else. Does anybody else have anything?
Do we need a motion for the Henry Street to make us the statement or not? We don't really need a motion.
I don't know that you do. What I'll do is I'll draft something up. I'll give both you and Vince a couple days to look at that video. Okay. And then if you want to call me, if
Okay.
you have any other additional thoughts, give me a call.
Okay.
I'll draft something up. I'll circulate it around. And as long as we all agree, I think we can put it together and send it off.
Okay.
Well, thank you.
That sounds good.
All right. So can I have a motion to adjourn? Sarah made a motion. Tubby second. All in favor?
Aye.
Okay. Have a good day, everybody. Thanks for coming.
See you next month.
Thank you.
Jeff.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye.